Look at me, I'm
The UFC's middleweight division has changed quite a bit in a short time. After Georges StPierre returned from a 4-year layoff to take the middleweight title off Michael Bisping, the former champ went on his first two-fight losing streak, getting knocked out by gastelum in a short notice bout Saturday in Shanghai. Gastelum called for a fight with interim champ Whittaker, who's expected to headline UFC 221 in his native Australia following his win over Bisping. Entering Saturday's fight as the 9th-ranked middleweight, it would seem like quite a jump for the 26-year-old to be rewarded a title shot, but with time and circumstance pressuring the matchmakers, it could happen. StPierre has yet to officially comment on what held next, but according to his boxing coach and former training partner, a move back to welterweight is likely ahead. GSP also hasn't taken more than 2 fights in a year since 2007, so a February bout after his November win likely isn't in the cards. We don't know what will happen next on the middleweight scene, but we do know the UFC wants to book Whittaker, its first Australian champion, for its pay-per-view in Perth. Following Saturday's main event, we take a look at who could get a shot at Whittaker and the interim belt. Gastelum has the hottest case to make after decimating Bisping, who held the belt less than a month ago, though the former champion taking the fight on such short notice diminishes the win. The 26-year-old is 32, with another TKO win turned to a no contest on his record as a middleweight, and has had issues making the 185-pound weight limit. He wouldn't have much in negotiating power to make his case, but if he's willing to take whatever he's offered from the UFC, he'll have an outside shot at landing the big fight. Rockhold hasn't been overly active since losing his belt to Bisping in June 2016, ending David Branch's 11-fight winning streak in his only bout since. The ex-champ lost his title in his first defense, but he had a solid streak of finishes leading into his short reign, winning by TKO a submission in 5 straight. Had he scored another victory over a top 10 contender since losing to Bisping, it would make sense to book Rockhold against Whittaker, but his lack of action could make it tough to prove he's earned it. Jiu-jitsu like Rockhold, Souza's inactivity will hurt him in attempting to get a title shot, but the 37-year-old Brazilian has an understandable excuse, as he was out with a pectoral injury suffered against Whittaker. Souza, the 5th-ranked contender, is expected to be ready for the start of the 2018 calendar year after a layoff following his April loss to Whittaker. Chris Weidman had 4 successful title defenses before losing his belt to Rockhold in December 2015, but then dropped 3 straight, including his championship defeat. He snapped the losing streak with a submission win over Gastelum in his native state of New York last July. The 6th-ranked contender may not have the recent resume to book the fight, but as a fan favorite, few would be upset to see him as a headliner. Yoel Romero like Souza, Romero's last fight was a loss to Whittaker. The 3rd-ranked middleweight contender may still be the favorite to land the bout, though, as he scored wins over Weidman and Souza prior to his interim title shot. Romero looked like he could defeat the champ during the July bout, but ran into conditioning problems in his first career 5-round fight. The former Olympic wrestling medalist's only UFC loss was to Whittaker. Stephen Thompson. This one would be out of left field, as Thompson is the top-ranked welterweight contender and hasn't expressed interest in moving up in weight. However, he was awarded back-to-back title shots at welterweight against Tyron Woodley recently and couldn't come away with the belt. If the UFC is looking for an intriguing matchup with one of its most likable stars, Thompson-Whittaker could be its best bet. Photos courtesy Getty Images.